What is going on, YouTube family? Welcome back to another episode of NAS100 analysis today, and we're going to pick up from where we left off in regards to the videos that we did last week, right? So the video that we did last week, we're just going to pick up from where we left off on that, because there's still moves that we need to identify for this coming week to make sure that we're on the right side of the coin on that one. Last week's trades was a bit, was kind of all over the place, and with NFP on Friday, that kind of didn't really help situations that much either. But either way, we were still able to work with, we were still able to do decent work in the market. Okay, it could have been better, but we was able to do decent work, right? So we're gonna get into all of that right now. Now, before we do that, first things first is I believe the content that I'm going to be sharing with you are going to find useful. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification, and drop us a like. And above all, drop a comment, especially if you've got a different take in regards to what it is that I'm saying, or you agree with what it is that I'm saying. Just jump on here and just say hi, you know what I mean? Don't be shy. I don't bite. Okay, all right, so with all of that covered, we're going to get straight into the business of the day, right? So last week, the previous recording, okay, that we did, right, we set these levels over here, which was the weekly low of 17298.4 and the weekly high of 17684.6. Now this one I've kind of moved around a bit, so it might not be exactly what I said last week, okay, right? But however, it's near about in that zone anyways, because obviously we're pointing this level right here, right? So last week, from the Monday, things literally was relatively straightforward in terms of how market was moving, right? So Monday we had market open on the low, right, and then close on the high. And then on the Tuesday we had market open on the high and then close on the low, right? And then on Wednesday we had market close on the low, right, and close even lower at the end of the Wednesday. And in that move, we had the close below the weekly low, this level right here, which is 17298.4. okay, so upon seeing that, what I did was, okay, soon as price came back up again to offer a discount, I then joined the market with a sell, right? So I joined the market with a sell, and I joined the market, say, roughly around this level over here, right? So let's say around this level over here is where I joined the market from, pointing right into this zone, right? And then my stop was relatively high. It was about here somewhere. I was covering these points over here, this area. This is where I had my stop, because I believed it was going to fly all the way down. And as market was obviously moving downwards, right, and I saw this move, I was super confident it was going to fly all the way down, right? I actually believed that was what was going to happen, right? So obviously Wednesday closed normal, and then on the Thursday, market opened on the low and started to act like it wanted to push upwards. So what I did was I bought my trading stop, and I located my trading stop just under where I got in, right? So just under where I got in. Okay, so naturally on the Thursday, what happened was market closed me out, right, because it started to pull back up again, right, and I was able to retain a small amount of profit, but ultimately price moved against me. Okay, so on the Thursday we had market that closed open on a low and then close on a high. All right, so then on the Friday I wasn't too keen to be in the market. Reason being is because obviously it was the first Friday of the month, so which meant NFP will be coming out at 1:30 UK time in the afternoon. Okay, the news in itself was green, right, in terms of in support of the US market, right, or strong in favor of the dollar, right? So price pushing down on the NFP data, okay, made sense, right? It absolutely did. So what happened was, although I wasn't in a trade at that point, I decided that I was going to join the trade, right? So what happened was, this massive red over here is the NFP, right? So that's taking place. I've seen the data. this massive move to the downside makes absolute sense in terms of what it is that I'm seeing. So on the next candle, when price starts pushing up, I believe I'm getting a discount, and I enter in with my sell over here, right about here somewhere, or maybe up here somewhere, right? But either way, it kind of looked good based on how I got in. But then obviously as the day went on, we realized that was a very bad spot. Right, it wasn't a good spot at all. So I had my stop quite high up, right? So my stop was, I'll say it's even higher than where this is. Actually, it actually was a lot higher than that, because I believed it was going to go down really low, but I just wanted to make sure that I safeguard the trade. So looking at where everything was, right, price then began to push upwards, right? Push upwards. So now I'm in the red, I'm in drawdown, I'm in the negative, things is not going good, right? So towards the end of trading day on the Friday, I decided to manually come out of my position, right? Manually come out of my position, just because price is moving against me, and I don't want to get caught out in anything at the start of the week, just in case we have a gap. So I jumped out of that. So we had a small profit over here and a decent sized loss over here, right? So it didn't work out. Last week was a bad week for trades, right? Okay. So with that all covered, we're going to get into why I did what I did, right? Because first things first, we have price close clearly low, so that's giving me a sell signal, right? Then obviously price pushes up, NFP comes out and gives out strong data in support of a sell-off, right? So I join it again, and then it doesn't work out. But in all the situations that was happening last week, one thing did not take place, and that was we did not get a close the previous week's high, right? So currently at the moment, this high that was set over here has not been closed. It's still in play. But what we do know is that the weekly low has been taken out. Okay, so if you're one of these guys that are obviously you're trying to attempt to use this strategy for yourself, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. It's not easy to get your head around it. Okay, so it does take a lot of practice, and it does take a lot of back testing, right? But ultimately at some point you will get your head around it, and then it's going to start to work for you. Now it's just how that's just how that goes. So it's not like a plug and play system, right? It still requires work, and it still requires you to know what it is you're doing to a certain degree, right? So once again, not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice. Everything I'm telling you, you need to exercise caution, you need to back test it, you need to make sure it makes sense before you commit your hard-earned capital towards it, okay? But however, this system is working for me. Now and again, I get slapped around, but ultimately it's working for me, so I'm sticking with it. All right, okay, so with that covered in terms of where we are and how I plan to do things for next week, right, the rules remains the same, right? So first things first, what I'm waiting to see take place is if this weekly high is going to be taken over. So this now is a new weekly high, and we now have a double top at this level right here, okay? And rules governing double tops is that there is a fair degree of probability that price will begin to start to push back down again, just based on what it is that we're looking at. I could be wrong, right? But there is a possibility that could happen. Okay, so this weekly high, this new one that was set, okay, is on the same level as this one over here, thereabouts, all right, and it hasn't been taken out. Okay, the weekly low of last week has been taken out over here, and the new weekly low has been set, which is this one down here. Okay, so the distance between the two is quite large in terms of, it's not the biggest, but it's large enough, right? So the distance between this level and this level is fair enough, right? So we kind of need to make sure that we're on the right side of it, depending on how it moves from week commencing the 5th, which is Monday the 5th of February, right? So the level in question that I'm looking at, or the zone in question that I'm looking at on the low side, is 1715, 145.7, and on the high side we're looking at 17690.0, right? If either one of these levels are taken out, I'll be looking for a position in the corresponding side that is taken out. So if a low is taken out, I'll be looking for a sell at a discounted price, so a pullback anywhere around these levels, and then I will then join it to ride it downwards, just as if a price closes above the weekly high, I too would be looking for a discount zone somewhere around here to be taking my buys as price continues to push up. All right, so that's just the vibe that I'm going off of. All right, and in saying that, because last week I was talking about the good old days are back, right? And it definitely feels like the good old days are back. To the individual that posted that comment, thank you very much for posting the comment. And this is what they had to say. So we're just gonna have a quick look at that, right? And it basically says, I also agree with you. Seems like the good old days are back. We have just got to navigate the market carefully regarding entries. And that there is 10 out of 10, right? In regards to how I feel about that particular comment. Because like I say, in this area over here, okay, this is textbook, but it's also not textbook. Because what's happened is, weekly low has been taken out. Okay, right? So you join it thinking, okay, that's a signal, you've got the discount here, you join it, and then it comes back and takes you out, and then naturally you're on the assumption that it doesn't work, but it actually does work. This is just one of these weird case scenarios where market has just done its weird little maneuvers, okay? But at the same time, if you go into a higher time frame, so let's go into a day right now. Actually, as a matter of fact, let me bring in a different chart, a cleaner one. So as we can see from this one over here, as we can see from this chart, you can see that we have a nice clear uptrend to the upside, right? So until one of these lows over here, one of these lows over here, or one of these lows over here, or one of these lows over here is taken out, in my opinion, the good old days are back. The good old days are back, okay? And in all fairness, let's take a look. Imagine if this is one half of a head and shoulder, right? So one half of a head and shoulder. Let me just draw this to your attention, right? So this level over here has been taken out, hence what I'm saying, the good old days are back, right? But at the same time, we could be getting tricked. So let's take a look, right? So let's just say this is the first shoulder, this is the head, and we're yet to find out if we've got a second shoulder over here, and then we'll know if this is going to be that, right? So at the moment, we don't know if this whole area is going to be that, right? I personally hope that's not the case, right? But we're only going to find out as we move forward. But as it stands, this is how it looks. Price is pushing up, but however, this could be what we get, right? We always want to try to be dynamic in the market in terms of everything that we're looking at. We factored in all the possible situations that could happen before it happens, so that way we are best positioned to take advantage of any opportunities that present itself, whether if it's a push to the upside or a push to the downside. We always want to be facing the correct business end of market direction, right? So like I said, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name because I know I'm going to get this wrong. I 100% know I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm not even going to bother. But what I am going to do is definitely thank the individual for posting that comment. And I too believe the good old days are back. But however, we do need to be careful, right? We need to figure out what this is, right? So this whole thing, let me just draw a little box around it. So we need to know if this situation over here happens over here. And if it happens over here, then unfortunately the good old days are not back, right? So that's what we need to be mindful of. So I just wanted to introduce that out there. Even though I am saying the good old days are back, I'm still exercising caution, because once again, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not giving you financial advice, and I want to make sure that we all navigate this stuff properly, carefully, so we can make as much profit as possible. And with all of that covered, my awesome people from all around the world, I want to thank you for coming over to watch another episode of NAS100 analysis today. And I look forward to seeing you on the next video, which will be very, very soon. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, that you've hit the subscribe button, you've turned on the notifications, and you dropped us a like, and also posted a comment. Just let us know where you're watching us from, and then I would feature your comment in the next video that we broadcast. So until then, guys, you have a really good, amazing abundance in your trading. Make as much profit as possible, and I look forward to catching up with you guys next week. So until then, this is Pips and Points signing out.